How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Kevin Nachi channel. I've been away in the Northern Hemisphere doing life things, and now I'm back. And not to my surprise, the actual tether dominance has started to drop down a bit further now, which is good in terms of price action compared to tether itself in Bitcoin, right? Now we're seeing that Bitcoin is at its all-time high, where tether dominance is at a mid-range. It's not even back at the lows yet. So what that is telling us is that there has been a increase in minting of tether. I can't remember what the ticker for that is. USDT market cap. Alright, sorry, I'm just drinking coffee, jet lagged and whatnot. But yes, Tether has been going upwards in terms of its market cap, whilst the price hasn't been doing much at all. So once the Bitcoin price starts moving again, the actual low isn't taken out, despite that being the previous Bitcoin high. What that does give us is some headroom between now and the lower 4% region for the tether dominance to fall to. And I do believe that the top of the market lies within here. Are we out of the woods yet in terms of the immediate sense, like short-term traders? If you're entering now, there is a possible, push back down to these levels before we go up here. However, it is good to see that we have a close below the GP, which is measured from here to here, right? That is just the golden pocket of this range here. But what we do find is that that level can also mark a top for tether dominance. I'm just getting a random example here, right? It bounces back to a certain range's golden pocket, and that acts as resistance before continuing to the upside, meaning price action against tether goes downwards. And that's why I've marked this GP as resistance, and the top here should the tether dominance continue going. Does it look like that's going to occur? I do think so. And if we were to reflect actually on my market analysis of the stonk market, I've been saying for an extremely long time that this 2618 level potentially is a marker for the top here, right around that 3.4 thousand ish range. Might touch, might go above, but once it kind of gets there, it might hover around even as risk assets start to boil and go into a bit of a bubble, and this starts rolling over. I do think that it is unlikely that the market rises all the way, S&P 500 rises all the way up to the $15,000 region. There's another video explaining that. I could be wrong. However, if Bitcoin gets to that $150,000 level, so between $150,000 to $180,000 level, as I've explained previously, and S&P 500 is at the $6.4 thousand region, super high risk, and it would be, not advice, but my time to exit the market. In terms of the dominance for Bitcoin, what we're seeing here at the moment is just a test of the level 0.786, which is another significant fib level. Not as strong as the golden pocket, but often the invalidation point should this level be lost of the golden pocket. What I mean by that is what you'll see sometimes, say for this example, you might see a bounce in the golden pocket here. However, you might put your stops below 0.786 because there's an opportunity for like the market to rebound from that area, sometimes wicking that zone and having higher time frame candles close within golden pocket, right? There is no exact number a lot of the time. But yeah, now at the moment what we're seeing for BitTensor, let's see if I have a clean chart. This is a quite nice chart. What I'm seeing for BitTensor at the moment is a really nice level being held, and I didn't suspect that we would lose this level should the market remain, somewhat, bullish after pivoting from tether dominance one level, right? As explained previously. I keep on saying that because there might be new people coming along here and be like, what the heck is he talking about, right? But very simple concepts, just watch previous videos to understand. We've bounced off this range's 0.618, which is the golden pocket. And also, actually, I could even do this. You could say that we bounced off the 50% level or the 0.382 level, which is a bullish level to be holding for continuation, right? For full range. But should you have been a trader adding to positions, it would have been a good level to be watching here with confluence with other support regions found in other markets like Bitcoin during the pivot here at tether dominance 1. Now, because we've held this level, it does look like there may be continuation. And as previously stated in my, price target analysis with BitTensor, the level that I'm eyeing off is around 1.5 to 1.8 thousand for BitTensor, right? Let me mark these out. That's where I suspect the high might be, and where I'll be unloading. In terms of the duration of this pump, another key thing that has been occurring over and over again is the duration of these expansions, right? Even recently, where these last typically for 50 days before rolling over or finding some sort of reversal, right? So it starts 50 days, reverses, even less, right? Let's use this as an example as well. 50 days, reversal. That's what you'll find very common within altcoins. I'm not going to go through analysis again, but should we see a 50-day expansion and it hit that region, might be around August, end of August-ish area, right? Potentially end of August. And there might be a correction and then one last push into the end of the year, perhaps, right? But if a lot of those things align, like Bitcoin all-time high, altcoins could pump after Bitcoin all-time high, but not all will, because what I've seen previously is that only a select few do, and other coins majority of the market falls with Bitcoin after it makes its peak. So you're just in a high risk scenario, and if you've made a bulk of the gains, best to walk away with them, right? So right now, let's see how the month of July and August play out. July has only sort of just started. We're a third of the way through, but end of August could be a pivotal moment for the market, and it wouldn't be out of character or out of practice for Bitcoin or for tether dominance to find that sort of top there around that time. We don't usually have these expansions to the next 1618 over a long period of time, especially on a smaller time frame 1618. Apologies, I'm gonna sneeze. Never mind. Far around. Got me. Gosh darn it. But anyways, this is actually a smaller range 1618. So I wouldn't expect it to do one of these like larger double taps or something that takes a longer time to, you know, find some resolution like this in 2021. Perhaps we could test it and then retest it, and then it allows for alts to sort of run for longer than just one tap off the high. What I mean by that is, let's say it marches up and then it hits it and then it comes back down, then it hits it again, it hits it, but then it never ends up surpassing that 4.09 level. Is 4.09% level, right? Once we hit this region, that's when you don't buy. Essentially, you're just like at a huge disadvantage if you buy. It's like 100% strike rate so far. Still, right? I've been just going on about this over and over again, but yeah. What else can we look at? Maybe some majors, since I'm here. We're seeing Ethereum bouncing off this really nice region. I missed a long here because there was actually a nice 1618 on Ethereum, which I was, you know, keeping an eye on, but yeah, let that slip a little bit. But Ethereum itself is at its main RZ once again at the resistance. How high can Ethereum, you know, go? I'm not sure at the moment. Ethereum structure, to me, same with Solana's, very tricky to trade at the moment, because from like an objective perspective, both charts are exhibiting like bearish structure, just like lower low, lower high so far. Not giving huge amounts of confidence, but yeah, sure. Let's say Bitcoin rushes towards $150,000. Let's hope some liquidity goes to these tokens and pushes them all-time high or beyond, right? I don't have any, you know, predictions for those because there's nothing that I can particularly read very easy here. And that just sometimes is the case. You don't have a read on certain tickers, which is fine. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I will leave it at that, but for the time being, what we're going to be watching out for is our approach to the 4.09% region on the tether dominance, right? Not much to update until that point. Peace, guys. Cheers.